Hey, welcome to another edition of OK Boomer at a special day and a special time, same bad channel. Brought to you by our friends over at the Inked marketing team who want us to remind you about Heel Turn, the comic, issue 1, now live on Kickstarter, where the world of professional wrestling meets Dexter. Get your copy today at inked.pub/heel turn. And now, please subscribe, comment, and share. And welcome to another edition of OK Boomer. This is Will.
This is Thomas.
And just in case, this is Mini-Me. And we are here to talk about Sandman #1.
Yeah, Neil Gaiman's Sandman #1. This, like I said, this whole sparked just accidentally because I picked up a copy #1 last week, and me and you were both talking before the pre-show. We've read this before, but I don't think either one of us remembered how good it damn was.
Yeah.
I mean, you start with a freaking cover. I mean, the covers for this series are absolutely iconic. I think they got a whole art book just of the covers.
Yeah, there is.
It's who does the covers? You remember his name? Oh God, what's his name?
We'll find out inside the book.
All right, so here we go. Well, we'll have to get to it first because it actually starts off. Sam Keith does the original art, and this is like early Keith. This is before the Max.
Yeah, this is before his art. Like he's like, well, I'm going to do this. And hey, I like that. That's my style. And that's all I'm going to draw from now on. This is when he was like somewhere in between.
Yeah, he's still trying to be pretty realistic. He hasn't reached that full-fledged cartoony look that he has in the Max. But now I'm going to tell you, Sam Keith, is absolutely incredible. The art in here is good, especially for this. The story is really what carries this book, though. I mean, it's the story is damn near better than the art. We'll go ahead and say that. I know that sounds terrible, but Keith does one of my favorite single Hulk issues of all time. If you've never read it, and that's the one where the Hulk fights Mr. Hyde in the train.
Mm-hmm.
And but his art is incredible, and the book opens and it's like 1916 in Witchcross, England, it says, and we've got a man that's coming to this house, and it's an old, some kind of Gothic manor or some such. It's not Stately Wayne Manor, but he goes there, and he's welcomed at the door, and he's led in, and then you finally start to realize things are kind of weird here with all this. I don't want to say satanic imagery, but I can't think of any other word for it,
House of Mystery?
Yeah, House of Mystery. Yeah, House of Mystery kind of, vibe. And the ruins everywhere. And we find out that old guy actually works for the National Library. And he has brought a grimoire, the Magdalene grimoire, to this older gentleman. Because his son has actually died in a boating accident in the war. This is during World War One, and he wants to see if he can bring his son back to life. Of course, then from that point, the book skips forward. The thing that's neat about this to me is it carries all 4 of these stories throughout the whole book.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all 4 of these people, and it all this right here. If you've never read it, this happens at the exact same time as this happens. We've got the young, Toronto, Canada. Ellie here. She's getting a bedtime story read to her, and it scares her to death. But she's still having a bedtime story read to her. And then there's another. Here's a little boy in Jamaica who's, he's sleeping and dreaming of castles. And then we've got another. Here's somebody's going over the top in the war who's actually faked his age. He's 14, yet he's in World War One. And then we've got another girl who's in England who just goes to sleep and she's having her little nightmare. And the witch cries and all this, and they're all dreaming of death.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when the story really kind of starts here.
This first issue of Sandman is just it's a prelude not just to the first story arc, but it's a prelude for the entire series.
Yeah, it is. It's a prelude for the entire series. It's a prelude for the story arc, and it's real world building that Gaiman's doing that's incredible. Because even in this on this page here, we've got the old man who's talking to his son. He says, everybody's making fun of me. I'm going to summon death. We'll be, transparent. And then he starts talking about Aleister Crowley and all the, if you know anything about this time period, then they had all the sex cults and they were doing sex magic in England, and all this other craziness. They believed in it. Jimmy Page, that's why he bought Aleister Crowley's house, all this shit. And Gaiman's tying all of this to real world things, which makes it that much more interesting. So yeah, the old man his plan is to summon death and conquer it. And then when they go, his son follows him in there, and you find out that it's a witch's coven.
Mm-hmm.
And they've actually got laid out in the floor. They've got their little circle of entrapment, and they're going to cast their spell, which he's pulled from the Magdalene Grimoire. And, I'm not going to read it all. People could, read it. He's, a feather they pull from a falcon, and his blood, and, the eye of, an eye of a man, I think it is. And they cast the spell, and, they keep they're calling to death. And I love that there's a lot of this, wide-eyed stare in this book, as the boys seeing what's going on, and the, smoke starting to appear in the middle of the dang, the circle of entrapment there. And then all of a sudden, this figure appears with a really strange kind of face, and he falls into the center of the circle. And, we don't know who it is right now, but we find out kind of about halfway through the book, I think it is.
Yeah.
We know from the title it's who he is, but halfway through the book they really lay it in. So he comes and he's captured, and there's our first, the sleep of the just. Let me blow it up and see if I can see who the cover artist is, because I can't remember. So Neil Gaiman story, Sam Keith and Mike Derenberg are the artists, Todd Klein letters, Daniel Basso colors, and it does not say who the cover artist is, so we'll have to look it up later.
It saved my life.
I think it's Dave McKean, but I'm not 100% sure. You looking it up?
Of course I am. Wrong Sandman.
Yep, there's two Sandman people.
Yep.
We'll actually get to the second Sandman, or the first one, however you want to go chronologically here in a little bit.
So what exactly is it you do up there in the city, Mr. Black? I mean, it's not sure how much you felt like.
Dave McKean.
It is McKean. Okay, I thought it was, but I wasn't 100% sure. Okay. Cool.
Media type, mixed media.
All of it's mixed media. Yeah, it's all collages.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, so there's the first we see of our antagonist or whatever. So when he passes out, I guess when they conjure him, it weakens him when he's pulled, we're going to say, to the mortal realm, because that's the way you talk about it. Mm-hmm. And everyone is stunned, but in his weakened state, the old man actually enters the circle of protection and strips him of his clothes and takes, his necklace, his bag, which we find out what's in it later, and, his helmet off. And they leave him naked. And you see, obviously, he's different right there because he's naked and he's completely white skinned into in the circle.
And just so happens to look like Neil Gaiman.
It just so happens to look like Neil Gaiman.
Yeah, imagine,
Imagine that. What's funny is as soon as that happens, now we go back to our people who were asleep, going to sleep, reading the books, and you notice that some of their dreams are a little different now. There's, Ellie, she falls asleep and it's like she'll never wake up. Our little guy in Jamaica, he's trying to dream his best dream. He climbs the clouds into the sky, but he falls down, and then he stays awake. He can't go back to sleep. His dreams don't seem real anymore. Then we've got our man that goes over the wall, our young child that goes over the wall or over the top in the war, comes back and he can't even go back to sleep because the nightmares are so bad. And then the little girl that was sleeping in England, she just keeps sleeping. It's like she never wakes up.
Yep.
This was cool because this is when I got here, we talk about the art, and Keith does this. All the rest of it's been pretty normal here, but this whole fisheye lens that he puts on this, you get to see that Sandman's actually looking out of the bubble, and then you finally get to hear his. It's not him speaking, but this is him thinking. He's trapped. He's just watching what goes on as the old man comes to him and he says, you're not the person I wanted, but we'll discuss conditions, of your threats or of your release. And Sandman's like, he's just threatening me, and he's like, I can wait him out. And the old man leaves. And then we flash back. This is a couple years later after the end of the war, and the old man that actually gave him the grimoire to summon Dream is he's upset because he's been found out during an audit of all the books. All the books have been missing because the old man's been having him bring him more and more books. And so he's going to kill himself and leave a suicide note. But the old man uses his magic to actually burn up the suicide note. So after the guy kills himself, they can't tie him to, they call him the Demon King here. They can't tie the Demon King to the old man. So he kind of gets off scot-free, and he's got all the books from the damn National Library. And as it goes on, like I said, the thing is time keeps moving forward in the story. We get here's our Sturman, who the young guy that went over the damn top at 18, or excuse me, at 14. In 1918, at 16 years old, he can't go to sleep anymore because of the war, and he kills himself. And then we've got the young girl in England that went to sleep and never woke up. She's still asleep. And of course, now by 1926, so what's this, like 16 years after they first summoned, or not 16 years, it's 14 years after they summoned the Dream. His son actually finally, who's a grown man now, brings him a book, and he says, I think I figured out who it is. And his dad's like, Dream. He's the only one that, they said it's the only person who we thought was, even though they were trying to summon death. This is screw up. They screwed up. I do like how he tells him, you'll make a good apprentice there, and you'll taken over the coven after I'm gone. But lo and behold, waiting in the winds is somebody here who we find out is actually sleeping with the old man's wife or lover, and takes off with her. And when he takes off, he steals a bunch of the relics from the actual order, and he steals the ruby and Sandman's helmet, and he also steals his bag. But he actually trades the helmet later on to a demon who gives him an amulet that will offer him protection from the old man. I was telling you today, I read forward in the series like I normally do. I know it's terrible. Issue 4 is when you find out who
you need to
demon
seek out professional help.
is. That what it is?
Yeah. and have more time to read the rest of your story arc.
And read the rest of the stuff. But yeah, in issue 4, you find out who this demon is that gives this guy the amulet of protection.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're listening and you're interested, it's in issue 4. But yeah, the old man still can't. He's freaking killing cats and trying to kill the guy. The man that crossed him constantly. And then finally, the guy that crossed him and the old man's lover, they break up. And when she leaves, she takes everything, including his amulet of protection. And the old man seems to finally know it. For some reason, he knows it. And then he's able to reach out and smush this dude. It's just kind of disgusting. So she smushes him.
Yeah, it's like, where did Scotty go after the bombing?
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Damn it. Exactly, because he's smushed. I love that they do keep following back with these people. So now we're back to our girl, Ellie, who's still asleep, and she hasn't woken up, but twice in the last decade. And we see our other young guy from Jamaica who's just barely awake. And then there's the other girl who, she's still sleeping too. She's never woken up. And finally, then here's the original Sandman, or second Sandman, Wesley Dodds, the Golden Age Sandman right here, who is having nightmares and finds that going out and avenging evil and, solving crimes lets him sleep at night. So he puts on the Sandman mask and kind of becomes the Sandman in place of the real Sandman who's trapped, or Dream who's trapped in the old man's basement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it keeps going, and now we've reached 47, and the old man is just, because, Dream never says anything to him. He just keeps watching him get older and older. And the old man comes to him pleading, and he's like, hey, why didn't you, you could have helped us with anything. You could have done anything. And he doesn't. He just finally dies. And, Dream's just waiting. He never says anything.
Yeah, and all these circles with the distorted views are what Dream sees.
Yeah, that's his view from inside the fishbowl, which they actually show a little later. Of course now, we keep going, there's someone, she's, so and so's dead, she dies, then they start moving, as Ellie's family dies and some of these other people's families dies, people that are still asleep, they're starting to be moved around from, like, I won't say not insane asylum, but like living assistant facility to facility, because they're still alive, they just won't wake up.
Yeah, so they move her to a nursing home, and the others to wherever.
Yeah, and the guy is just, he doesn't really sleep. He just kind of walks around in a daze. And he'll eat, but he never says anything. Our guy in Jamaica.
Yeah, he's kind of like sleepwalking. Yeah.
Yeah. And then now we're in the future. So it's the old man's dead. and his son is finally taken over the coven. And, he uses it, he doesn't necessarily believe in all of the magic and stuff. He's using it as a, to get money from people. He's calling these people in and making it as a money thing. And he's informing some of his followers now this is the same thing. It's money. But he goes down finally one day. He decides he's going to go down there and actually talk to Dream. There's a fishbowl. And he goes down there and he tells him, he says, you don't have to be in there, I'll give you everything that you wanted, the same thing that my father offered you, power and immortality, it's a promise. I'll let you go and everything if you'll just say something to me. And Dream finally says something. What is this, 20 something pages in the book? And he tells him no. That's it. No.
It's like no, and it's an ominous no.
Yeah, it's not it's that everything he says has got that I don't know how to describe it. People that read comics, you know what I'm talking about. The way the bubble is drawn, it's not a good thing. It's like when Thor talks in Thor comics, and it's all written in in Old English script. You could tell he's not speaking normal English. Mm-hmm. It's that's little stuff like that I love.
And just the bottom of the bubble, just that intense stare that Dream is given.
Yeah,
it's like that's kind of like Popeye. I've had enough and I can't stand no more.
Yeah. Well, not only that, the thing is Keith makes it even worse because most people have they'll draw the pupils or whatever. You don't even see his pupils. You just see the reflection in his eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and his eyes are just solid black against the white. But so it goes, now it moves forward anyway, and he's bringing all the people in, and they're doing the yoga and tantric sex and all this, and he's having giving people drugs and such. But the thing that's cool is if you read there, he forbids the use of psychedelics inside the house. He's worried that the waking dreams could empower his prisoner. So he knows what he's got. He's figured it out, and, he's still, trying to be as careful as he can. But he doesn't, and then, we check in on our people. They're still sleepwalking, and these two are still asleep. And the people that guard Dream, they're down there, and they can have as much, coffee and amphetamines as they want, but they can never go to sleep while they're near him.
Yeah, because he'll just take them over.
Yeah. But see, I don't know if he can take them over inside the circle now, because in here in a little bit, we'll get to it. Because they, as time keeps moving forward, he finally passes away. Or not, he doesn't pass away, excuse me. He's getting old, and some of his people are leaving the coven, and he's just like, I don't understand why Dream won't do anything. And you see time as it passes, and Dream's just still. He's like, looking at it. Don't you love it? So Stephen King, that's what he's reading.
Mm-hmm.
The guy's just ranting and raving against him, and then Dream's finally at the bottom. He's like, soon, he's just been waiting for somebody to screw up. And then here's the screw up part. So he's, as an old man now, he's in a wheelchair, and he says, I've just, it's pointless. He won't talk to me anymore. So he tells his followers to, take me back to my office. And when they do, they whirl him around, but he's too close to the circle of protection, and he mars.
The wheel actually goes in. The wheelchair actually goes inside the circle.
Yeah, it goes in the circle and then mars it. It breaks the circle.
Yeah, so now he's got problems.
Yeah, so now that's what I'm saying. It's like if before, I think he couldn't have really affected anybody as long as the circle was complete. It may have fed him a little bit. But once the circle is broken, it's over with. and that's here, so they're, he goes off, and the little guards here talking about their vacation that's coming up in the book, and guys, this guy's talking about how he wants to go to the beach, and the babes are going to be beautiful, and the sand, and the beer and everything else, and he just slowly falls to sleep. And then when he falls asleep, he's just laid out there on the beach, and you can see Dream's hand as he reaches in and he starts to pick up the sand. He pulls the sand from the freaking Dream. And when he does, the guy wakes up because he sees the hand. And shortly after that, Dream falls down, and they call everybody, hey, come on down, something's happened. Because he's never done this before. So everybody gathers around, and they're like, is he dead? What's wrong with him? So somebody's got to take a closer look at him. And then this is where they use the key, and they open up the actual fishbowl. And when they open the fishbowl, this is where Dream gets up, and the sand that he just had, he took out of the Dream, he blows it on them all and puts them to freaking sleep. Everybody in the room goes to sleep.
Yeah, it's just like, now I'm gonna get you all, suckers.
Yeah, and that's the thing. He's pretending to be asleep. You see his eye. When he hears the click, you see he's menacing here, and now he's smiling at the bottom when everybody's asleep. And then boom, he's gone. He just leaves. And he goes into the dream world, and everybody wakes up as soon as he's gone. What happened? Where did he go? And then now we get to see, it's like when he gets into the dream world, the very first dream he encounters is this dream. Somebody's having some dream of being at a party, and he's dressed as a clown, and everybody's laughing at him. And, apparently it's a recurring dream. And then this naked white guy shows up and steals all Colonel Sanders' chicken and eats it, and then runs away. I mean, that's exactly what it is.
KFC joke.
Do what? Yeah. I mean, it is a damn good.
I want to tell my KFC joke so bad, but I'll hold off.
It's NSFW, huh? So he flies out, and he says, he's Dream actually says how he's weak because he's been captured for so long, but he eats, and he actually eats the Dream, if that makes any sense in the story.
He consumes the Dream because that's his power.
That's his power, yeah. And
so
then
by putting everybody to sleep, he gets sustenance.
Yep, be it nightmares or good dreams or whatever. And then he creates himself some clothes, and he says, there, I've been fed, I have raiments now, and now I can get what else I crave, and that's revenge. Dude, he looks evil here.
Mm-hmm.
And what's funny is now that he's out,
I look like that too when somebody fucks with me.
Evil.
That like evil stare on the face. Yeah.
Right there, huh? Damn it. Now that he's actually out of the prison, all the people start waking up. And even they're making fun of our little guy in Jamaica, and he's saying he can't talk, he's crazy, and he's like, nope, not anymore. And she wakes up, and then here's the Miss Unity Kincaid comes. She wakes up, and
crying.
Yeah, she starts crying. We didn't talk about this earlier, but if you read the fine print, she was raped while she was asleep, and actually has a baby, and they give the baby away, and she's like, I dreamed I had a baby.
Yeah, like while she was in the nursing home, she was. They talk about it briefly in the book, and I'm like, it's just a pretty disturbing read, especially for back when this came out.
Yeah, it
was like, ooh, subject forbidden, no talk, Planet Genesis, all that, all the stuff like that. It's like, this was not spoken of in comic books for.
No, and that's why this is Vertigo, and it's labeled mature readers only. I do like this though. So we get here, and the old man is asleep now. He's having a nap, and then you can see he's in his dream, and he's like going down the hallway, and then as he passes a mirror in the hall, he's young again. And he picks up a candle, and he's following this damn cat, this black cat, and he follows it all the way up these stairs.
It's not a black cat.
No, it's not
it's
a black
cat. But it's not a black cat.
Yeah, it looks like a black cat, but it's not. This is probably
and the look on his face in that upper right panel.
Yeah.
Will tell you all you need to know about this page.
Yeah. This is probably the best page in here to me. I mean, Keith really nails it. I mean, dude, all of this and there's no words, there's no dialogue. You don't need it. And you follow everything that's going on.
Yeah, like there's dialogue in the first two panels, and then some sound dialogue, and that's all.
That's it.
On the bottom, on the first panel on the bottom row. And that's it. You don't need, if the art is this good, you don't need dialogue to move the story.
No, you don't. And that's the thing. And not only is the art that good that it moves the story, it's freaking ominous.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look at the damn cat, and then there it is going up the stairs, and then he's following. He sees there's the tail. The cat's always in front of him. Now all of a sudden it's way the hell up there, and he keeps following, and the cat keeps disappearing. Finally, by the time he gets to the top of the stairs, he's a young boy again, and the cat's in the chair. But as the panels move on, he realizes, oh hell, the prisoner's out.
Hello.
Yeah.
And then the look on his face, he's like, I'm young. He never woke up. He's still in the dream.
Yeah, he's still in the dream.
It's we've all had those dreams where we're asleep and we dream we woke up, and usually it's you got to hit the head, and you have the dream that you got up and went to the bathroom and that you're peeing forever.
Yeah.
And then you wake up because you're like, uh-oh, gotta go.
Yeah, I really gotta go to the bathroom. Or that thing where you wake up and then you have to sit there a minute and go, am I awake? Is it still a dream?
Yeah.
And that's
like,
not,
where am I?
Yeah, where am I? And the thing is, here he gets up here and Dream tells him hello, and he says, you aren't, he tells him, you're not talking. What's the matter? Has the cat got your tongue?
Oh.
Yeah, he's not a happy guy. And then so now here comes the realization. He's like, it's you. Hey, I'm sorry. It wasn't me. It was my father. So he starts making excuses, and Dream literally just tells him, shh. Yeah. It doesn't matter. It's all over with, And then he tells him, hey, see, we weren't trying to get you. We were trying to get Death. And Dream kind of laughs at him. He's like, your world? If you had captured Death, your world would not have survived. Like, it would have been much worse than it is now. And that's when he's like, where's all my stuff? He's, where's the things that you took from me? My ruby, my helmet, my bag. And then he tells him, the guy took them. The guy that left the coven took them. And they're gone. I don't know where they are. And Dream finally tells him, he says, I see. So you've done all of this. You've made a mistake. You've lost all of my things. And all I'm going to give you now is, your punishment is going to be a gift for your hospitality, for keeping me here. He says, I'm going to give you this eternal waking. And this is what you were just talking about. So he wakes up, And, he's like, no. And, the guy that's at his bedside, his little companion, he's like, are you all right? He says, and he's like, he's all right. He's out. And then the guy like starts to melt. And then, he's back to sleep again. And it's just one constant nightmare after another. And he can never wake up.
Mm-hmm. The nurse's head falls off and is talking to him upside down.
Yeah. If you think you're having, he says, I think you're going to be having quite a lot of these dreams from now on, and laugh at him.
I can sympathize with this guy because that's towards the end of my coma, that's all there was.
Really?
Was all kinds of different dreams and hallucinations and nightmares worse than you can print in even an indie comic nowadays.
God.
So yeah.
But yeah. And then, they're kind of the last page, it says it was, Dream says, that doing all of this to these people was more tiring than he expected. But, the nightmare is feeding him a little bit, and, I've showed him true fear. He's kind of looking over him as the guy's there. They're trying to wake him up and he won't wake up. And he leaves, Dream leaves. And that's the end of the first issue. 41 pages.
Mm-hmm.
I really have been thinking about it after I read it today. Is there are very few complete origin stories in comics that are just that just carry the stories themselves that are this good. I mean, and it's like, I don't think we've done a whole lot of origin stories. We've tried not to. We've done a lot of we did the Creeper, but he's like way out there. But I mean, no real main origin stories. But I was like, this one, and the only other one I can think of, like not the classic Swamp Thing story, but like the Anatomy Lesson is like the same thing to me. I mean, he completely changes Swamp Thing, and this is honestly, gaming completely changes Sandman here because we see the original Sandman, but we didn't ever know who Sandman is. And as you read the series, for the people that don't know, the Sandman Dream is called, he's one of the Endless. There's like 7 of them. And they all begin with D. I was trying to remember the names of all of them. But they're not necessarily gods. And they're not demons. They're something else. They're like a part of reality. They have their own little branch. But excellent story, dude. I forgot how good it was, and the art's really great too. It's got pages that shine, and there are pages that are a little inconsistent. But this is some of Keith's first work. This page.
It was so good.
Yeah. I mean, and this is why didn't this series win it won a literary award of some kind for like a best short story or something.
Yeah, it won a few awards over the the forever time of Sandman. It just seemed to be going on forever. And towards the end of the series is one of my favorite story arcs in here. There were so many great ones. The Inn at the End of the World.
I don't think I've gotten that far yet. I've like me and you were talking out in the pre-show. I've read over half. I've read past A Game of You, I think it was.
Oh yeah. No.
40s or so.
Inn at the End of the World, I think, is the last story arc in the series.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But I mean, you got this one. The first story arc is him trying to get all of his stuff back. And
Yeah.
after this issue, he goes back to the dreamland and he finds out, he's been gone, and all the dreams and the nightmares are kind of going crazy. And then in issue 3, it's more of the same. Issue 4 is where he goes to hell to get his helmet back. The demon that we see just a little piece of in this has got his helmet in hell. And then I think the next story arc after this one is the one with the serial killer convention, isn't it?
It might be. I don't remember.
Yeah.
All my Sandman trades are in like a short box somewhere with some other trades and hardcovers, including my my Batman Long Halloween hardcover.
Damn it.
But it's in a short box, and I'm not sure where it's in a pile either over here or over there.
You can go ahead and kill me now. I have never read Long Halloween.
And no cheating by just watching the movie.
No, I've never read it. I have never read Long Halloween.
My God.
And I love
you need to it's 13 issues long.
I know.
People think it's a 12 it's a 12 issue and DC used to like to relabel stuff. Now they like to relabel stuff badly. But back then, like they started with the original Crisis on Infinite Earths. They didn't want to call it a 12-issue miniseries. They called it a 12-issue maxi series because we all want to buy our comics when they're partially renamed after feminine hygiene products.
Hey, damn it! It's terrible.
Batman Long Halloween, there was actually a 0 issue.
It's like Dark Victory.
Yeah.
Victory had a 0.
Yeah, there was a 0 issue, and I had the hardcover. And one day I will get Tim Sale to sign that hardcover and do a little something because he signed all 3 of my Marvel hardcovers.
Yeah.
Daredevil Yellow, Spider-Man Blue, and Hulk Gray. Plus, he did a remark on the inside page, like the inside cover page.
Yeah.
Of Hulk's head for me.
Sweet.
And that was done right after they canceled Boston Comic-Con because of the fucking Tsarnaev brothers and the Boston bombing.
Really?
Most everybody that for talent and guests and comic book guests all spun around, when this happened and they canceled it because of, the lockdown on the city and everything. Most of them spun around on their heels and left town. The rest of them were just like, well, we paid for the hotel for the weekend. We're staying. Worst case scenario, we hang out at the bar, get some work, powwow together, get some work done, and get drunk. And at least enjoy the hospitality of the hotel. And then after the last brother was taken, they started the whole Boston Strong movement, and a bunch of them stayed around. And this following story was basically put together by David Mack. David Mack sat down with a bunch of guys, Lee and Tim Sale and a handful of other people, and they went around to local comic shops from Boston to New Hampshire in support of the Boston Strong movement, met fans for free, signed for free. You could still buy merch from them, like if they had like books and posters and prints.
Yeah,
you could still buy them from them, but if you brought something of yours, they were just signing. David Mack was like, "I'll sign anything for free that you bring." So I brought a bunch of the Daredevil run.
Yeah,
that he did. Some of my favorite covers that I thought were like the coolest of the badass.
Yeah, like
And
the ones with Echo in it.
yeah, I brought, you know, I brought like a bunch of those covers out of my personal collection, and a few other things. And then I'm like, he's signing all this stuff for free, so I bought a few prints. One of which I gave to the owner of my LCS, which I don't know whether he still has it or whether he sold it. That's why I quit giving him stuff, because anything I gave him as a gift, even if it was stuff that he liked, he'd be like, "Yep, it's cool, but it's taking up space." Price tag on the shelf, boom. So I have not bought anything from him since. The only thing I've bought for him, and probably like the last, I'd say 20 years now, has been Dunkin' Donuts gift cards.
Dunkin' Donuts cards.
I'm like, his birthday comes around, his birthday comes around, I try to get him a $20 gift card from Dunkin' Donuts. And Christmas time, when Dunkin' Donuts would, not this past year, but when Dunkin' Donuts would have the sale on like all their flavored coffees, like 3 bags for like $18.99.
Yeah.
I'd have my helper go buy a Dunkin' Donuts and get like 3 bags. He likes like French vanilla. I go, get like 2 bags of French vanilla and get me a bag of hazelnut for me, and boom, and then you can just drop the 2 bags of French vanilla off at the shop for him. Say Merry Christmas from me, and pick up a handful of books, and I'm good.
And you're good.
But this was cool. I enjoyed reading Sandman again. I was in a panel on over on off of some Twitter friends.
Yeah.
And they're all they're all indie, and they're all like super indie, creators and stuff. And a bunch of them were trash talking Neil Gaiman. They don't like him. I mean, I'm not a big fan of him now for stuff that's going on with like the show. I'm not liking what I'm hearing about the show and the book reading. And the thing that got me even more is about a month and a half ago, DC put out a PR post with the principal actors for the Netflix series.
Yeah.
And they put it out and specifically highlighted all their pronouns. And I was like, fuck this. I don't even want to see it. I am so sick of all this bullshit.
Well, yeah, you have to take this as what it is. I mean, I know, like me, you were talking earlier, that's the same reason I don't read Spider-Man after a certain amount, because it irked me. But on a lighter note, I didn't show you these. So I got
Oh, let's get rid of this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Elvira House of Mystery. I picked up another issue of Moon Knight.
Nice.
The art is really good in this. Sadly, it's a second print, but second prints are still worth a damn lot of money.
Yeah, I got my first print.
I do not have a first print. I've got 2 second prints now.
Well, obviously because it's got Joker on it that I am not selling my first print.
Yeah. And then I got this, but like the Arkham Asylum I showed you the other day when we were talking, this has never been opened.
Now, I have that one, but I have the one where they dropped the price.
Yeah.
To like, and there's a special sticker on it. It's got a sticker on a sticker label on the cover saying new introductory price $19.99.
Yeah.
That's the original. That's probably the original first print volume.
Yeah. My brother actually has one of these he got for a Christmas present.
Mm-hmm.
That is, it's, of course he didn't get it because we live in redneck, redneckistan.
Redneckistan.
Yeah. But it has the COA and everything with it, and you can tell who it is. But it's autographed by Bob Kane.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it's
That's
worth
sweet.
a small fortune.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that's some of my recent pickups because I got, I don't know, I got two medium-sized boxes of comics in the mail this week, plus my new stuff.
Well, I got that big giant box from JJ's like over a month ago.
Yeah.
I haven't even cracked it open.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I literally,
I don't have place for this. The last one I opened, so I got two of them like less than 3 weeks, like about 3 weeks apart. And one of them I cracked open and I flipped through and I looked through the books, and some of them are like, what are these? Well, they do what they call a Whisperer special, and the Whisperer is actually his wife. She runs like all the stuff behind the camera
yeah,
during the live sales, unless she's on vacation. And so he names a couple of specials after her. One of the regular Whisperer specials is $10. You get 10 random number one issues.
oh sweet,
And sometimes you might score something good, but most of the time you just get stuff out of the quarter bin. But in the box I haven't cracked should be my Elementals #1 naughty cover with Fathom and the Dolphin.
Fathom of the Dolphin.
And Bill Wilmingham was supposed to be on a panel show of with RJ that runs criticalblast.com.
Yeah,
But Bill Wilmingham is just stereotypical older generation that has no clue about anything computer savvy.
yeah,
And StreamYard has problems back and forth between Facebook and Apple. So
really,
he was using it's usually something that gets corrected within like 24 48 hours, because if somebody has a problem they go onto their account and they report it to them right away.
yeah,
And somebody will do something about it, and they'll be like, I'm so and so, I got 1,000,001 followers, I can't be dealing with this, I don't want to have to go back to OBS. And I'm like, I need to learn OBS, because you can run StreamYard and OBS simultaneously with a switcher, so you can use multiple cameras.
oh cool,
StreamYard, you can set up multiple cameras, but you can only use like one at a time.
uh-huh,
And you can't switch cameras when you're like on a phone. But with the using OBS with it, you can use a special OBS switcher, and you can basically run stuff like you're in a production booth for like a live show on actual TV.
oh sweet. All right, well, I did this week's. Did you think about what we're going to read next week?
Yep.
Okay.
So it was a favorite series of mine, and I had the cool black and white noir poster of this hanging in my bedroom when I was a kid.
They're asking for My Little Pony.
We are not asking for My Little Pony.
Black and white noir poster.
No. It was it's a different Sandman. I want to jump into the first issue of Sandman Mystery Theater.
I knew you were going there. Um,
Well, we're having a lot of Wesley. We had an appearance of Wesley Dodd here. We had the big Wesley Dodd story, future what if story in Kingdom Come,
yeah,
and now we'll get this one.
we'll go ahead and do them all.
And
that's by Matt Wagner.
yeah,
Yeah, it's by Wagner. So it's like it's not a it's not a fly by night creator. We're talking legendary Matt Wagner writes Sandman Mystery Theater.
mm-hmm.
But cool. All right. Well, as far as I know, right now everything is good for my schedule this week. So we'll be back next Thursday then.
Cool. It's a done deal. And,
all right. Yeah,
Sandman.
That's sweet. I didn't know that they had made
the Dream Hunter figure with the little elephant dude.
Yep.
And the Arabian Nights version of Sandman, and it's got that funky stand with the crystal ball that I guess he attaches to because he floats in air.
Yeah.
And his hands are around the crystal ball, so it's pretty cool looking.
Sweet.
But yeah, what else they had? This was like old. It was DC Direct. They actually made figures for it. There's a Sandman figure, a Death figure, Spider Jerusalem, Tulip, Cassidy, Saint of Killers, Hellblazer Preacher, Spectre, Dr. Fate, and Zatanna.
Oh, they did a Zatanna? Oh, hell yeah. I need to get me a Zatanna.
I don't know. Did I sell you that Sandman figure?
No.
I showed it to you though, right?
No.
Yeah, I did.
That's
Starman figure, I mean.
Oh no, not no Starman figure. Spectre looks cool as hell too.
Yeah, I've got the Starman figure, but I had it hung up in a room with direct sunlight, so the case all yellowed.
Yeah.
But there are metal connecting plates on the staff.
Oh, sweet.
And when you put the staff in his hand the right way,
it connects.
The end of Starman's weapon lights up.
Oh, cool.
And I thought that was cool, and it was a super hot figure at the time. And then they made it again with a reprint, like a repaint rather, not a reprint, a repaint. And
I bought some of the Starman stuff was it Robinson?
Yeah.
That everybody says is so good, but I haven't read it. I bought it at Ollie's for next to nothing. Uh-oh, it's Star Trek time.
Yeah, I'm sure that's probably the X. Calling my daughter's here, so. But,
all right, well I'll let you go, man.
All right, so next Thursday, same bat time, same bat channel on the regular schedule, and Sandman Mystery Theater #1.
Will do.
Cool.
All right, man. Bye.
All right.